So to get started off with, we're going to have a look at the vertical design of Sydney Court, and the tools that we're going to be using for Sydney Court are applied to any string within Corridor Easy. We right click on Sydney Court, click Vertical Grading Editor, and we can immediately get access to the vertical design of the profile. Now this is a modeless form, so the vertical profile is effectively stored within this form, meaning that you can put it on another screen if you want to. If you want to navigate in here, all you do is hold down your mouse wheel to pan, double click your mouse wheel to zoom extents, and you can scroll your mouse wheel to scroll in and out of the design. You'll notice that the software has drawn a profile using IPs and vertical curves over the top of the sampled surface that we chose, which is the existing surface. When you create a road string for the first time, the software will automatically just go and put in a design of best fit over the top. Okay, this is not related to cut or fill, this is just simply trying to match as best it can. If you want to remove this design, which is what we're going to do, you can click on Delete All. By clicking on Delete All, this will remove all the IPs and leave just one at the start and one at the end. But crucially, these are matching onto the existing surface. Now what I'm going to do is just very simply here just move the window out a little bit so we can get a little bit more perspective on what's happening. To add IPs into the design, we simply click Add IP, and then anywhere within the window where you click, an IP will be generated. So we can left click, say here, and in here we can actually refine the values of where that click was positioned. So the station value is 81, or 81.13, so we'll make that 81. We'll make the elevation exactly 35.7 and the vertical curve length 50 feet. Now once we've done that, we can click OK. As you can see there, we've got that vertical curve being created. Now have a look closely to the command line down here. Now this is prompting us to do or run the next command, which in this case it's suggesting that as soon as we click it will create a new IP. Now if you don't want that to happen, you simply press escape on your keyboard and the command prompt will stop and you can begin to choose another command if you want. Now you can actually override the command by picking another one anyway, so don't be too concerned, but certainly when you're running delete IP, which is what we're going to click now, and we click near an IP to delete it, the command delete IP or PVI continues running in the background. So if I happen to left click and continuously left click, I'm simply going to be deleting those PVIs as they're created. We can also run an undo just in case we find ourselves in a position where we've maybe made the wrong change or edit to the vertical design. We're going to add in a couple more. So we're going to click Add IP, click, and in this case we're simply going to leave the values as they are, change the curve length to maybe 75. You'll notice that we can actually set the in-grade and the outgrade. So if I wanted to set the outgrade here, you'll notice that we can now do that. So I can actually set the outgrade to be -1. But one thing I can't control is the elevation because I'm now setting the outgrade. So that cell is automatically grayed out. Click OK. Now I decide maybe that particular IP is not where I want it. I'm still in the add new PVI or IP function, so I'm going to press escape. To edit that particular IP, I'm going to left click near it, and as soon as you do that we get a contextual ribbon available where we can actually start to go in and make changes. So maybe we decide, well actually this needs to be 80 for the vertical curve length. We have the option of incrementally moving the IP or PVI up and down by a value, in this case of 0.1. We might make that 1. Now when we do that, if we use the little arrow button here, we can move that up and down in increments of 1 foot. We can also match, and by the way this particular feature is only found in this particular ribbon. We can also match it to the surface. So if I click this button here, it matches it to the sampled surface in the background. This button will then delete the IP or PVI that we've then created. So a few tools available in here. If we click close, we can also use IP edit. We left click near the IP we want to edit, and we can go back into the same form that was used to create it. So if we do decide that we want to make tweaks or changes to these values, maybe make that 75 again, click OK. We're in a position to be able to do that. Let's add just one more. I'm going to freehand click, and we'll make the elevation on that one 31, put the VC length as 55, and then click OK. Very quick and easy to help build your design. Now we decide here maybe that this one has got a grade which is far too flat incoming. We can use the grid editor. So the grid editor is there to supplement your design. It's not a one or the other. You can use this in combination with the vertical grading editor, and maybe you decide, well, actually the outgo or the forward grade here coming out needs to be at least -1%. Press enter, and you can see how that's changed and really almost negated the need for that particular vertical curve. But you can use the grid editor in combination with the editing tools that are found up here. We have a whole range of freehand tools that you can use as well. So if you want to move the IPs freehand, you can do that by clicking on one of the little buttons, click near an IP, and simply left click to reposition that particular IP. Same goes with some of these other tools, which are definitely worth exploring. Raising and lowering the entire design by a set amount is available, and also edit by range, and this is a very valuable tool. If you've got a lot of IPs or PVIs located along your design that need one single edit, maybe they need to have the same VC applied or an incremental change to the height, you can use this particular tool, which opens up a contextual ribbon. So if you decide that, well, actually between 200 and 475, these two IPs in here need to have a level increment added to them of, say, 1/2 foot, we can check the increment level, put in the station value, which is within that range. So we'll say 200 to 475, and we'll click apply. And those two have now been raised. We maybe decide that their vertical curve length needs to be the same. We want them to be 70. Make sure you're unchecking increment level here, otherwise that's applied again. We click apply. We then decide that they should be matched to the surface. You can very quickly see how these tools are extremely helpful to help you edit multiple IPs or PVIs through your design without having to go through the process of editing them individually.